Honorable members, our prayer this morning is the Lord's Prayer. Please recite the prayer with me if you wish. Shall we bow our heads in prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Honorable members, please be seated. Secretary General.
Confirmation of minutes.
I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honourable Rofili Petrisawau, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Wednesday, 5th November 2025, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed.
Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
The Parliament will now vote on the motion. The question is that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Wednesday, the 5th of November 2025, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. The Secretary General.
Communications from the Chair.
I welcome all honourable members to today's sittings, and as we continue to serve the people in our nation. A warm welcome as well to those who are joining us in the gallery and to everyone watching the live broadcast, whether you are tuned in via television or streaming online. Thank you for tuning in to stay connected and also engage in our parliamentary platform. The Secretariat and I were on the verge of deciding to abort this morning's sitting as there was no water in and around the precincts, owing, I am told, to a burst water main in Waimanu Road. Happily, the Minister responsible and the Leader of the Government in Parliament came to the rescue and saved the day for us. So let's make full use of the day. Thank you, Minister. We now proceed with the next item in the order paper. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
Honourable members, there are two committee reports for tabling this morning. The first is from the Chair of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights, and the second is from the Chair of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. I now call on the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights, the Honourable Rakwita Vagalalamuri, to table the first report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights, I am pleased to present the committee's review report on the 2022 general elections, joint report by the Electoral Commission and Supervisor of Elections, and the Multi-Observer Group. As a result of the review, Honourable Speaker, I will highlight some of the key findings the committee has noted, and these include the following. One, that the 20 recommendations by the Multi-Observer Group and the additional recommendations made by the Electoral Commission and the Fiji Elections Office have been reviewed and refined by the Electoral Commission and Fijian Elections Office and subsequently submitted to the Fiji Law Reform Commission as part of its proposed changes to the electoral laws. Secondly, that the Fiji Law Reform Commission has reviewed all the recommendations by the Fijian Elections Office and the Electoral Commission, and that the outcome of these changes will be presented in Parliament. Third, that the constitutional amendments are required to address some recommendations provided by the Multi-Observer Group. Fourth, that there are concerns regarding the declaration document published by the Fijian Elections Office, that it which could potentially be weaponized by a political party that wins an election. Five, that there is suggestion to remove the ceiling cap for political parties to receive donation, which could infringe on the independence of the party that wins an election. Six, that there is a suggestion for having gender quota on political party candidates lists to encourage participation of women in elections. Seven, that there is a notion to have advanced public disclosure of election dates to allow sufficient preparation by voters and stakeholders. Eight, that the Electoral Commission has decided to discontinue the mobile election results app and reinstate the media center counting result. And nine, that all references to MIDA will be removed from the electoral laws. At the conclusion of the review, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends the following. One, that the Standing Committee will review any proposed changes made to the Fiji Law Reform Commission once the report is tabled in Parliament. Two, that safeguards be implemented to protect those donors listed in the declaration document published by the Fiji Elections Office, which could be weaponized. Three, that there be an early date allocated for public disclosure of election dates to allow sufficient preparation time for voters and stakeholders. Four, given the repeal of the MIDA Act, it is recommended that there be a suitable replacement framework to be considered by Fiji Elections Office to ensure continued media accountability, transparency, and fair access during elections. In that respect, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the members and the alternate members of the committee for their deliberations and input. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, supervisor of election, and the representatives from the Fijian Elections Office who accepted the invitation and provided submission that assisted in our work. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Standing Committee, I hereby commend and table the committee's report on the Electoral Commission Multi-Observer Group 2022 General Elections Report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can you please hand the report to the Secretary General?
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 121, Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Thank you, sir.
Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable Koya. The Parliament will now vote. And the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? Thank you. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Thank you, honourable members. I now call on the Deputy Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, the Honourable Chovesa Wadea, to table the second and final report of today.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, I'm pleased to present the committee's consolidated review report on the Auditor General's 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and the 2023 audit reports on statutory authorities, independent bodies, and commissions. This report consolidates the following reports from the Auditor Generals of the Republic of Fiji, Parliamentary Paper number 104 of 2021, 114 of 2023, and 184 of 2024 on statutory authorities, independent bodies, and commissions, which covered the audits of 27 statutory authorities, 8 independent commissions, and 1 independent body. So all the reports, Mr. Speaker, sir, are consolidated and condensed into a single report, which I am now tabling to the House this morning. In accordance with international standards on auditing, audit opinions are classified as either unmodified or modified. An unmodified opinion indicates that the financial statements comply with the applicable financial reporting frameworks and legislative requirements, with no material misstatements detected. Conversely, a modified opinion is issued when material errors, governance, or internal control weaknesses, or insufficient supporting evidence affect the reliability of the financial statements. Modified opinions may be qualified, adverse, or disclaimer, with the latter representing the most serious form of non-compliance and a key concern to the committee's review. The committee noted audits of accounts dated back to 2003 as included in the consolidated audit report on statutory authorities, independent bodies, and commissions. It was also noted that while there have been periods of improvement in audit opinions, quality, timeliness, and internal controls, the qualifications were not sustained over time. The committee observed that 5 entities received a disclaimer of opinion. The quality and timeliness of financial statements varied significantly among entities, with 73% assessed as unsatisfactory. Therefore, the committee expressed serious concerns over the number of pending audits, as well as the resubmissions of poor quality draft financial statements, which continue to hinder timely completion of audits. The committee further noted several significant governance issues that warrant the attention of Parliament. This includes the absence of formal risk management policies, disaster recovery plans, and business continuity plans, all of which are critical for effective oversight and operational resilience. It is also important to highlight that a substantial number of audits were delayed due to the following factors: delays in submission or incomplete submission or draft accounts for audit, delays in providing management comments, delays in retaining signed audited financial statements for issuance of audit opinions, failure to provide relevant information or records to auditors in a timely manner, authorities opting to address issues raised in draft audit reports before resubmitting financial statements for audit. According to certain entities, the delay in the timely completion of their audit reports was due to factors attributed by the Office of the Auditor General. Upon completion of the audits, certain reports were retained by Office of the Auditor General, awaiting the completion of other entities' audits to enable their consolidation into a single comprehensive report. The committee directs the heads of all entities to take full responsibility for addressing the audit issues identified and to implement appropriate corrective measures without delay. The committee acknowledges with appreciation that many entities have responded positively to the recommendations of the Auditor General and have initiated strategies and actions to rectify the significant matters raised. The committee urges and recommends that both the Tauke Affairs Board and the Permanent Secretary responsible for ITAB undertake concerted efforts to ensure that the accounts are promptly updated by 31st July 2026, if need be, allocating additional resources. The committee recognizes and recommends the entities with consistent positive financial reporting over the last few financial years, with effective rating in quality and timeliness, with an unmodified audit opinion. And these are Accident Compensation Commission of Fiji, Civil Aviation Authority, Fiji, Consumer Council of Fiji, Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission, Fiji National Sports Commission, Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority, Fiji Teachers Registration Authority, and Investment Fiji. I extend my sincere appreciation to my fellow committee members for the diligence and commitment, especially to Honorable Esrom Emmanuel, our former PEC Chair, Honorable Naisatuna Deba, Honorable Alvik Maharaj, Honorable Hemchand, and Honorable Sachidanand. On behalf of the Standing Committee, I hereby commend and table the committee's report to Parliament this morning.
I thank the Honourable Bodea for his committee's report. Can you please hand the report to the Secretary General?
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 121, Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting date.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, sir, I second the motion.
Honourable Alvik Maharaj, seconder. The Parliament will now vote, and the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? No. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, we now proceed to the next item on the order paper. Secretary General.
Ministerial statements.
The following ministers have given notice to make ministerial statements under Standing Order 40. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Civil Service and Public Enterprise. The Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection will deliver 2 statements, and the Minister for Agriculture. The ministers may speak up to 20 minutes. After the minister, I will then invite the Leader of the Opposition or his designate to speak on the statement for no more than 5 minutes. There will be no other debate. So I now call on the Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Civil Service and Public Enterprises, the Honourable Stephen Rambuka, to deliver his statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Ministers and Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, Jambul Vinaka, and a very good morning to you all. I also send out greetings to those who may be watching the live stream at their homes or through other media. And we thank the media for taking to the public the proceedings from this Honourable House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to update the Honourable members on my recent engagement in October of 2025, and to report on the continuing work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, now includes external trade, in strengthening Fiji's global partnerships and deepening our connections with Fijians living abroad. Mr. Speaker, sir, October has been a month of significant diplomatic progress. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have witnessed the consolidation of several key international partnerships that directly support our national development agenda and our people, both at home and overseas. On October the 24th, we launched the Australia-Fiji Governance Partnership, a 4-year Fiji dollars 25 million initiative aimed at supporting civil service reform, accountability, and democratic governance. The partnership, Mr. Speaker, sir, complements our broader public sector transformation strategy and reinforces our commitment to integrity, professionalism, and performance across the public service. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji has also continued to diversify its diplomatic and strategic partnerships. On the 23rd of October, I met with the Deputy Foreign Minister of the State of Israel, the Honorable Sharon Haskell, during her official visit to Fiji. This visit marked another milestone in the growing friendship between Fiji and Israel, coming just weeks after the opening of Fiji's resident diplomatic mission in Jerusalem. A key highlight of the visit was the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Israel's National Cyber Directorate on cooperation in digital security and cyber security. The MOU establishes a framework for collaboration in capacity building, exchange of best practices, and threat and vulnerability assessments, all aimed at strengthening Fiji's resilience and digital space. Israel's global leadership in cybersecurity brings invaluable expertise that will help Fiji build institutional and technological capabilities to counter emerging cyber threats. The MOU also opens a new pathway for digital innovation, technology transfer, and capacity building. Mr. Speaker, Fiji's solidarity with the people of Israel remains steadfast. I extend tribute to the courage and resilience of the Israeli hostages recently released through the 20-point peace plan, a framework for humanitarian relief, recovery, and long-term peace building. It's very interesting that that announcement from the U.S. President came only hours after Fiji, in our national statement at the UN at the UNGA, announced the Ocean of Peace initiative that was signed by the leaders of the Pacific. That milestone, Mr. Speaker, sir, the signing and the entry into the peace negotiations in the Middle East, and also our relationship with Israel, showed Fiji's enduring commitment to peace and security in the Middle East. I got a very happy call from His Excellency the President in the middle of the night, announcing that he has had very successful meetings with the King in Abu Dhabi, and they are willing to support Fiji, particularly with Fiji's profile in international peacekeeping operations. Fiji stands firmly in support of all efforts that advance peace, rebuild communities, and promote lasting security for Israel and its neighbors. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to inform the Honorable House and Honorable Members of an important milestone in our relationship with the Republic of Vanuatu, our neighbor, a testament to our shared Pacific solidarity and the spirit of reciprocity in our policy of family-first Pacific regionalism that underscores the Pacific way that was introduced by the late Ratu Mrs. Mala. Last week, sir, the Director General of the Ministry of Lands of Vanuatu officially handed over to the Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs the registered lease for a 44-acre property in Vanuatu, gifted to the government and the people of Fiji. The site includes 2 existing buildings, which can be utilized by Fiji for future diplomatic, cultural, or community purposes. Vanuatu's generous gesture is made in reciprocity for the parcel of land that Fiji government has allocated to Vanuatu opposite Maisuva Park, as well as in recognition of the deep friendship and mutual respect shared between our 2 nations. This exchange not only strengthens bilateral relations, but also reaffirms our region's shared commitment to cooperation, mutual development, and people-to-people links. The Fiji-Vanuatu partnership stands as a shining example of how Pacific communities and countries can advance common interests through understanding, generosity, and unity of purpose. Mr. Speaker, sir, in October also, and October showed that there has been a month of reflection on Fiji's rich cultural heritage and diversity. In the second week, we celebrated Fiji's National Day. In the third week, we celebrated Diwali, the Festival of Lights. And last week, we commemorated 170 years, the 170th anniversary of the arrival of the first Chinese settlers into these islands. The influence of the Chinese community in Fiji extends well beyond the traditional narrative of trade and enterprise. Historical records trace the first Chinese settlers arriving into Fiji in 1855. And up until 1980, 2 years after China's opening up to the world, all Chinese in Fiji and their descendants came from just one province, Guangdong, specifically the regions of Jiangmen, Zhongshan, and Dongguan. Only after 1980 did the migration expand to the northern provinces. This historical impact of Guangdong province was very deep in the provinces of Lau, Lomaiviti, Kandavu, and Naitaisir. While at the ceremony or the celebration, Mr. Speaker, sir, you will notice that I held up a book written by a former Dux of Queen Victoria School, Joe Mbani-Vanua. Right through his school career, he was known as Joe Mbani-Vanua. When I met him in Queensland many years later, he told me, Siti, it's okay to be Chinese. And by then, he was known as Joe Ma. And I commend the book to all those aspiring to succeed in life. The influence of these early settlers, particularly from Zhongshan, is still seen in our food, our customs, our daily life, from the use of banana leaves in cooking, introduced by Chinese settlers in Naitaisir and Tailevu, to the Chinese lollies that often accompany Samyangana sessions, reflecting the ancient Chinese of medicinal practices to rebalance the body after kava consumption. Even in our festive traditions, such as the use of firecrackers, trace their roots to Chinese customs symbolizing the warding off of evil spirits. And these influences, alongside those from our Indo-Pacific, Indo-Fijian community, the Pacific and Western communities form the cultural mosaic that defines modern Fiji, a nation of blended traditions, shared histories, and collective pride. Mr. Speaker, sir, October was also a time of national reflection and unity. On the 11th of October, I joined thousands of our citizens at the Fiji Day celebrations in Liverpool in Sydney, hosted by our vibrant Fijian diaspora in Australia. I reminded those that gathered on the day that they live far from home. Their hearts remained closely related to those of us in Fiji. through their remittances and support for family and prayers, continue to strengthen our nation. In the first 4 months of this year, Fijians abroad remitted over 448 million Fiji dollars, and annual remittances now consistently exceed Fiji dollars 1 billion, a lifeline for thousands of people, hundreds of households in Fiji, and a pillar of our economic resilience. Mr. Speaker, sir, during my visit to Sydney, I reaffirmed the government's intention to expand essential service delivery to Fijians living abroad. The Fiji Government Service Roadshow, led by our High Commission in Canberra, in partnership with key ministries, brought services directly to our communities across Australia, commencing from the Northern Territory and continued to the states of Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, ACT, and concluded in Western Australia. Over the course of 4 weeks, from the 25th of September to the 26th of October, the roadshow team engaged with hundreds of Fijians in Australia, offering on-the-spot services such as renewal passports with the Ministry of Immigration, registration of voter IDs, registration and issue of voter IDs with the Fijian Elections Office, registration of the Volunkaambula with the Ministry of Itaukei Affairs, printing of birth and death and marriage certificates with the Ministry of Justice, and accessing services provided by the Fiji National Provident Fund. Our workers who are in Australia through Pacific Australian Labour Mobility, PALM scheme, also had the opportunity to meet with senior representatives from the Ministry of Employment, including the Minister and Permanent Secretary of Employment, to discuss or raise matters directly with our officials on the PALM scheme. Mr. Speaker, sir, members of the community expressed their deep appreciation for the opportunity to access government services without having to pay thousands of dollars to travel to Fiji for these same services. I take this time to acknowledge the tireless efforts of our officials who traveled from Fiji to support that initiative, as well as the Fiji High Commission and staff in Canberra. Community elders also across Australia who volunteered to ensure the smooth execution of that exercise. Their professionalism and dedication to service and to the people reflect the value of public service that we uphold. The success of the roadshow underscores the importance of consistent outreach and engagement with our overseas communities, so they do not feel isolated or disconnected from home. Further, I wish to commend the coordination between the Fijian Elections Office, the Fijian Electoral Commission, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and our diplomatic and trade missions abroad for facilitating voter registration for Fijians overseas. This collaboration ensures that every citizen, no matter where they reside, can participate in our democratic processes and remain connected to Fiji. These initiatives form part of the National Diaspora Policy currently being developed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in consultation with relevant agencies. The policy aligns with Fiji's national development plans, and the initiative reflects our commitment to a people-centered foreign policy, one that ensures no Fijian, wherever they live, feels disconnected from home. Mr. Speaker, sir, our foreign policy is no longer confined to the international stage. It is a strategic tool for national development, connecting diplomacy to the everyday needs of our people. The Foreign Policy White Paper of 2024 and the National Development Plans share one vision: that Fiji's sovereignty, security, prosperity, and are mutually inclusive. Every partnership we forge, whether in governance reform, defense cooperation, or cybersecurity, contribute directly to our goals of economic growth good governance, and social cohesion. Fiji's diplomacy is therefore people-centered, development-driven, and anchored in the values of partnership, mutual respect, and shared prosperity. Together, these reflect our determination to ensure that diplomacy delivers tangible benefits for our citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look to the future, our government remains steadfast in ensuring that Fiji's voice is heard and respected globally, and that our citizens at home and abroad remain at the heart of our national progress. We will continue to deepen partnerships that strengthen our institutions, modernize services to better serve our diaspora, and uphold our role as a responsible and compassionate member of the Pacific and global communities. The handover of land from Vanuatu, the strengthening of ties with Israel and Australia, and our enduring cultural connections with our Asian partners all reflect a single truth, that Fiji stands as a bridge between cultures, a beacon of partnership, and a nation of peace and goodwill. That spirit, Mr. Speaker, sir, will continue to guide our diplomacy, our governance, and our collective journey as one nation under God.
I thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his ministerial statement. I will now invite the Leader of the Opposition or his designate for his response. Honorable Fayaz Koya.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'd like to thank the Honourable Prime Minister for his ministerial statement and an update on strengthening Fiji's global partnership. Honourable Speaker, right at the outset, the 5 things that have been mentioned by the Honourable Prime Minister are very positive and obviously at the forefront of our foreign relations and in terms of trade and assistance, etc. But to begin with, Honourable Speaker, with the launch of the Australia-Fiji Governance Partnership, we must remember that one of the strongest, deepest commitments that we have with one of our neighbours has always been and will probably always be Australia. And this particular governance partnership that currently exists with the Australian government is very important to Fiji's aspirations in terms of development and also just being neighbourly, sir. This particular initiative launched by the Honourable Prime Minister in October 2025 has many key elements to it in terms of economic governance, democratic norms, and furthering some of the existing collaborations that we actually have with respect to parliamentary support, elections, taxations, and statistics. I just wanted to highlight something, Honourable Speaker. A lot of us have been part and parcel of the parliamentary support that is given by the Australian government, and so it is at a phenomenal level. We have witnessed firsthand how important it is, and we've also witnessed firsthand how important it is to us as a parliament in terms of the assistance that we get from the Australian government in terms of that particular kind of support. And that's just one part of it. And it is a relationship built on many, many years of friendship. And I thank the Honourable Prime Minister for furthering that with this particular governance partnership that has been agreed to. Honourable Speaker, because I have a very short space of time, I think one of the other important issues is currently the civil service reform that needs to happen. That forms a huge part of it, and I'm sure and I hope we will get a lot of assistance from the Australian government in trying to reform our civil service to take it to an optimum level, because it is something that's important to us. And the flips that has actually come about, that is currently with one of the, I think, committees that has to be dealt with, that's going to be another big help to us. So this particular agreement will mean that it will be a help to us to get that assistance from Australia. One of the other things that was mentioned with the Honourable Speaker was the signing of the MOU on cybersecurity. That is another area that is critically important to Fiji moving into what is now the next generation of cyber, so to speak, with AI, etc., that exists. And I think Fiji needs to, and I think this has actually been taken to another level by the ministry that was responsible. And a big thank you too to the former minister who was who was part and parcel of getting that strengthened. And I wish the new minister well, who's going to be taking over that particular portfolio, to ensure that our cybersecurity issues are dealt with, because it is something that concerns us, and it is something that the rest of the world is grappling with at the moment. So we must be on top of it. So any assistance that they're giving to us in terms of this particular engagement with the MOU with Israel is going to be helpful to Fiji. To the government of Vanuatu, Vanuatu is a very strong supporter of the region, or in anything that we do. And I think we must also acknowledge the fact that we are also grateful that they look up to Fiji all the time, sir. At every instance where we actually appear as a Pacific region, they're always looking at Fiji in terms of the way forward and how we actually do things. So, and a big thank you to the Vanuatu government for the generous handing over of the 44-acre property to Fiji to actually further our relationship with them. In terms of the diaspora engagement, I'm happy to hear about the policy that's being developed. Honorable Prime Minister, you may want to just spark somebody, because there was assistance, I think, being given by the Commonwealth and the Secretary General to the Commonwealth, who'd spoken about this particular issue in terms of diaspora policy, because we must acknowledge that our diaspora contributes heavily to our economy in terms of remittances that come. Just this morning, Honorable Leader of Opposition actually reminded me that in the Philippines, the diaspora has a separate lane that they come into in terms of when they come in from wherever they are, whether it's in the Middle East or wherever. In the Philippines, they have a separate lane for the diaspora to come in to be taken care of, because they contribute so much to the economy. Just lastly, sir, in terms of the recognition of the Chinese community, and it's important that we do that, China has been a friend to Fiji for many, many moons, as they say, sir. They have stood by our side, they have supported us always through thick and thin, and I think the community here has contributed heavily to it, sir. But just to end on a lighter note, sir, the late Dixon Sito, who was a heavy contributor to the Fijian economy and in terms of his intellect, etc., I joked with him one day, sir, and I said to him, Dixon, what happened to all the tall Chinese? I think we ended up with all the short ones from the region that you come from. And he actually swore at me, sir. So but nevertheless, sir, I think it's important that we acknowledge that the Chinese community's contribution in Fiji, and the Chinese themselves, they have never left us, they continue to support us. It's important that we acknowledge it, and I thank the Honourable Prime Minister for acknowledging that, because we are friends to all and enemies to none, and I think that stands us in good stead in terms of the ocean of peace, etc. The whole world looks at us as a peaceful country, and everything and anything that we do is at the forefront of it. Just acknowledge the Honourable Prime Minister's statement with respect to the President and the meetings in Abu Dhabi. Everybody looks at us because of our peacekeepers, and they have actually flown the flag for Fiji, and peace is at the forefront of Fiji's everything that we do, or everything that Fiji does with respect to foreign affairs. I thank the Honourable Prime Minister for his statement, sir. Thank you.
I thank the Honourable Faiz Koya for the statement on behalf of the opposition. If I may just pick up on a strand of Prime Minister's statement, my own personal footnote on the Chinese influence on the islands. Yes, Prime Minister, quite a few of early settlers spread onto or into our out islands of especially the Lau group, including my own at Kambara. In fact, my own family connected with a Chinese trader, and he married one of my great aunties, and their children and grandchildren are now serving our country, both here and abroad. Much in the same way as the Honourable Joe Ma, as you had mentioned, our colleague, grew up on Naroi in Moala. So they form now the backbone to my people's development, and of which we are so grateful for. Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. I now will call on the Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection, the Honourable Shashi Kiran, to deliver her first statement.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, today marks Thursdays in Black, a global campaign initiated by the World Council of Churches in 1980s to peacefully protest and challenge attitudes that causes rape and violence. I once again rise in this House to urge women who may be suffering to reach out for assistance and call toll-free number 1560. And you're not alone in your suffering. Mr. Speaker, today I rise to honor our rural women. Rural women are the backbone of our economy and the heart of our nation. They are farmers, caregivers, traders, and innovators. They feed families, run businesses, and sustain communities. This government believes that a nation cannot prosper if its rural women are left behind. And under the coalition government, we are making every effort to ensure inclusivity. The International Day of Rural Women, observed annually on October 15th, honors the women who sustain our lands, our families, and our future. This year's theme, Strong Women, Strong Families, Strong Communities, Ending Violence, Promoting Health, and Building Drug-Free Futures, powerfully reflects Fiji's national commitment to gender equality, resilient livelihoods, and inclusive development. We commemorated World Rural Women's Day across the country with interagency collaboration among government ministries, civil society organizations, and local communities in promoting gender equality, health, and rural development. Each of these events enhanced public awareness on domestic violence, disaster resilience, legal education, and sexual reproductive health. In Central Division, our ministry partnered with Naitasiri Women in Dairy Cooperative and Women's Fund to honor women farmers and provided interagency services including health and access to justice. The event brought together women's representatives from 16 districts and 20 villages, along with 9 stakeholder organizations that participated in the celebration. This was held in Nandawa. I thank Fiji Red Cross Ministry of Health, Empower Pacific, Naitasiri Provincial Council, Fiji Police Force, Ethocare Affairs, Fiji Women's Fund, Lazel Lawyers for provision of a range of services for women of Naitasiri. In Namosi, the commemoration was extra special as it was held during the season of Nanai and was collected for display. There were also plans to cook, but I think something happened there, and the bag walked away. The event, supported by Ministry of Agriculture, Legal Aid Services, National Fire Authority, Fiji Police Force, and Medical Services Pacific, honored the invaluable role of rural women in agriculture, food security, and community development. Women from 14 villages of Narayawa, Wainimakutu, Nangarawai, Seliandrau, Waimvaka, Wainilotulevu, Nasongo, Namosi, Wainiyavu, Navuni Kambi, Vunindavo, Burotu, Namuamua, and Nukusere attended the event, reflecting a strong community interest and need for services in rural areas for women's empowerment. Women benefited from financial literacy and agriculture programs. They received information on HIV and STIs, reproductive health care, gender-based violence, and legal aid services. Fire Authority was also there and provided drills and tips for prevention of fires in homes. More importantly, it fostered inclusive participation by encouraging women and girls to take on active roles in community decision-making and leadership. In the Eastern Division, our ministry reached out to Vanuambalavu, Ngau, Patiki, and Nairai, promoting sustainable livelihoods, healthy living, and resilience. About 200 women from 5 districts benefited from workshops on food security, financial literacy, and online safety awareness programs. In the Western Division, awareness sessions in Lewa Village in Nandari Vatu focused on access to justice, health, and social protection services benefiting around 100 women from Tikina of Savatu, also with interagency service delivery. And I wish to thank Deputy Speaker, Honorable Lenora Geringen Tambua, for her presence at this event and for taking the time to listen to our women. For the Northern Division, the Ministry hosted 3 days REACH program from 15th to 17th of October at Saolo Village in Bua and commemorated Rural Women's Day, Day for Eradication of Poverty, and International Day for Older Persons. The 3-day event in Saolo Village was a platform for government to bring its services directly to rural communities, where accessibility can often be a challenge due to distance and geography. Over the course of the 3 days, about 400 individuals from 29 surrounding villages representing the Tikinas of Vuya, Solevu, Wainunu, Kumbulau, and Nandi in the province of Bua attended the programs. For many of these Fijians, this was the first time they were able to access a range of government services and information all in one place. Mr. Speaker, the success of this event was made possible through the strong collaboration of 27 stakeholders from across government, statutory agencies, financial institutions, and civil society and the private sector. I wish to acknowledge the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources, Honorable Philemoni Vasarongo, for opening the event, and also Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Tomasi Tunumbuna, for officiating the closing at this program. I wish to thank all the agencies who made time to join our team providing their services, including the Ministry of Employment, Productivity and Industrial Relations, Ministry of Fisheries, Ministry of Civil Service, Ministry of Agriculture and Waterways, Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Health and Medical Services, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport, Ministry of Ethiopia Affairs and the Reserve Bank of Fiji, National Fire Authority, Water Authority of Fiji, Consumer Council of Fiji, Online Safety Commission, Biosecurity Authority of Fiji, South Pacific Stock Exchange, Fiji Elections Office, Fiji Development Bank, Novusu Agricultural Technical Institute, Vodafone Fiji, Medical Services Fiji, Fiji National Provident Fund, Fiji Police Force and Diagnostic and Special Medical Center, as well as Fiji Pine Limited were present, Mr. Speaker. Such a broad collaboration is a testament to the power of partnership and whole-of-government coordination. It demonstrates that when agencies work together, we are able to deliver integrated, efficient, and people-centered services to the most underserved. During the event, the people of the 5 Tikinas accessed a wide range of services. Amongst the most sought were the services provided by the Ministry of Justice, which included printing of birth, death, and marriage certificates, registration of new and late births and deaths, conducting court marriages, printing of Volunteer certificates, title searches, trust registrations, business registrations, and assistance from Justice of Peace for document certification and legal advice. Other services provided included application for social protection allowances and information on women's grant support programs. Medical screenings for breast cancer, cervical cancer, NCDs and HIV, voter ID registration and updates by the Elections Office, applications for water tanks under the Rainwater Harvesting Initiative, fire safety demonstration by the National Fire Authority, consumer rights awareness by Consumer Council of Fiji, and information on the Pacific Labour Mobility Scheme to support overseas employment opportunities. A highlight of the event was financial literacy training conducted by the Reserve Bank of Fiji. 60 rural women successfully completed the program and received certificates. This training provided valuable knowledge on budgeting, savings, small business management, and the importance of financial independence, key tools for women's empowerment and community resilience. The event also featured free medical checkup provided by Diagnostic and Special Medical Center for recipients of the Ministry's social protection programs. This service was highly appreciated by the elderly and persons with disabilities who attended. Mr. Speaker, beyond service delivery, the program also served as a platform for listening. Our officials from across the government ministries were able to hear directly from our people about the challenges they face, be it access to justice, gender-based violence, poverty, or infrastructure gaps. These consultations help inform future policy and program design, ensuring that decisions made at the national level are grounded in the realities of those on the ground. While October 15 draws attention to and honors our rural women, our ministry will continue to deliver the services to our rural women through women's forums across the country throughout the year. Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge the hardworking staff of our ministry for using the days of commemoration to reach out to the rural women across the nation with the support of our partner agencies. May God bless our women living in rural areas across Fiji. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Minister, the Honourable Shashi Kiran, for her statement. I now invite the Leader of the Opposition or his designate for his response. The Honourable Virendra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise today to acknowledge and thank the Honourable Minister for Women, Children and Social Protection for providing this ministerial statement on the update of the World Rural Women's Day celebration observed globally on October 15. The gravity of this occasion demands the attention of every member of this esteemed House, as for the ministerial statement rightly notes, the women of our rural areas are the pillars who sustain our lands, our families, and our future. I commend the choice of the theme, Strong Women, Strong Families, Strong Communities, Ending Violence, Promoting Health, and Building Drug-Free Futures. This theme is powerful and reflective of the core national challenges we face, particularly in our grassroots communities. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the true measure of our commitment is not in the strength of our theme, but in the effectiveness of our action. The ministerial statement highlights the national commitment to resilient livelihoods of our rural women. Coming from a background with a deep interest in the agricultural sector, I must press the Minister for more detail on this critical point. Our rural women are often the primary laborers and decision makers in farming and fishing activities. The question before us is this: beyond the celebration, what concrete costed measures has the ministry put in place to ensure these livelihoods are truly resilient? Have the women's groups engaged through these celebrations been connected directly to the Ministry of Agriculture for training in climate-smart farming and diversification? What is the specific budget allocation to provide rural women's cooperatives with modern, efficient post-harvest technology to reduce losses and increase market value? Are we ensuring equal access to financial resources and business opportunities for these women to compete effectively in our local and export markets, thereby eradicating the poverty that often marginalizes them? We must shift from awareness of resilient livelihoods to the tangible delivery of economic infrastructure. If we fail to secure the economic independence of the rural women, her family and her community will remain vulnerable. Mr. Speaker, sir, the statement refers to the events having enhanced public awareness on issues like domestic violence, drug abuse prevention, and legal education. While collaboration with civil society organizations and communities is laudable, the tragic reality is that incidents of violence against women remain devastatingly high, with 9 lives lost this year alone in intimate partner violence cases. This begs the question: how does the ministry measure the success of enhanced awareness? Has the number of reported cases of domestic violence or drug-related offenses in the communities visited decreased after the celebration? Or conversely, has the increase in reporting, which is a sign of trust, been recorded? Are the educational materials produced through this interagency effort readily available in vernacular languages year-round, or are they confined to the celebratory period? We need to know what specific support is being provided to the police and justice system to ensure that legal education translates into a justice system that treats violence as a priority and not just another case file. The systemic failure to protect women cannot be solved by a single day of celebration. It requires robust, survivor-centered laws and continuous, well-funded support systems like shelters and hotlines. The awareness must be linked to immediate and effective help. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministerial statement is a positive step in acknowledging our rural women. However, my duty as an honorable member of this House and an advocate for rural development is to ensure that the words of the statement are matched by transparent and continuous government action. I call on the Minister to provide a detailed follow-up report outlining the measurable outcomes from the awareness campaigns and the specific economic policies implemented to support the resilient livelihoods of the women engaged through this celebration. We in this House, regardless of political affiliation, stand united in our determination to empower our daughters, sisters, and mothers. I pledge my continued commitment in my capacity as a Member of Parliament to scrutinize the implementation of policies that ensure every rural Fijian woman has the opportunity to thrive, free from fear, and supported by tangible economic and social resources. Thank you, sir. Nak.
I thank the Honorable Virender Lal for his statement on behalf of the opposition. Honorable members, it is time now to suspend our proceedings for our morning break. Parliament will resume in half an hour.